My next upload for today on the 17th of April is with regard to communication skills, a very important skill in modern day society, and basically the breakdown in communications, the obstruction of communication, and the ploys and tactics of communication. As a graduate of the University of Limerick, having studied language and cultural studies and learned languages throughout my educational experience, I'm concerned about the means and tactics of communication in this vendetta of treason and hate crime that I'm experiencing. As I've mentioned, there has been obstruction, and there has been disinformation, and there has been publicity of frauds that are liable since 2006, and that have been of slander and defamation since 2006, that are still in contempt and liable for damages against not just my ancestry, but also against the state. The forms of communication are verbal, written, gestures and such, and basically expressions. They're all forms of communication. In my current accommodation, social housing, when I should be on my marital property, there's a little issue about recent developments that I haven't condoned to, that I haven't consented to, that are not in accordance with regulations. The issue and the saying of the writings on the wall is a very serious matter in this entire charade, since culprits, repeat offenders, damaged my bodily integrity and utilised my light fragments as a universal light worker for their own intents and purposes that have been damaging society, privacy, wildlife and nature. They do not have ownership of this situation by any means. They do not have ownership of a situation that has damaged sacred light and a human anatomy of a royal angelic light worker. They have damaged wildlife, nature, and society. I find these all very serious offences, and as the culprits have done such damage, not just to my anatomy and bodily integrity, but to a broader scale of pillars of society, facets of society, domains of society, damaging wildlife and climate and nature and society, are very serious offences that I take great exception to, with culprits that have damaged from my body without consent, treasonously and offensively and inhumanely, to further damage one of my pet loves, nature. Climate has been damaged in Tralee, County Kerry as a consequence of these individuals. The other offence that I'm going to refer to in this upload is with regard to the practitioners, healthcare providers that are aware of the circumstances and that are aware of the offences of medical negligence that I have experienced, and the unlawful detainments that have been conducted since I became a married mother. As a mentally sound individual experiencing stalkers with no respect for the privacy and protection that I'm entitled to, these stalkers that are liabilities in society, damaging the harmony of society, are still offending the state and my royalty. The health practitioners that are of slander and defamation, and that are assistants to hate crime and treason, are in contempt and not within remit. So in Tralee, County Kerry, since a Royal Angelic Light worker, Maria Mcelligott, here in this upload, was violated after giving birth to a beautiful son on the 14th of the 10th, 2015, there have been gargantuous damages done to society by culprits that are liable since 2006, that have not helped communication and that are bargaining and evading the consequences and costs to their damages. As regards my right to housing, family correspondence and privacy, I'd appreciate the Honourable Government respecting my royal lineage, ancestry and patronage. The culprits that have damaged wildlife and nature and that have trespassed on my farm holdings and that have disrespected my matrimony and that have stolen from my marital house and my family house and that have trespassed into this social housing accommodation. I'd appreciate the Honourable Government addressing this issue quite urgently. The protection that I'm entitled to means that my rights as a law-abiding citizen experiencing the defamation of guilty, incompetent human beings are not being honoured as they should be. As a representative of Ireland abroad, the issues and offences that I'm experiencing are inexcusable. So tonight, with individuals in my midst that have no right to be in my proximity and that are repeat offenders since 2006 and that have been treasonous in my family home and in my marital home, are not lawfully tolerable within my proximity, considering the damage they have also caused to my only son. I'd appreciate the United Nations realising or acknowledging the damage done in Tralee, County Kerry due to sacred light fragments from my child and I being utilised and exploited monetarily and that have caused harm to society. There are people abusing their positions and obstructing and harming human rights.